are the principles that we abide by and adhere to. As you know, students like Hart come in, they're coming in and they're learning about who we are and what our school values.
Right. And that was nicely to you, as we shared. Those principles, there are words that have come into our lexicon now that for some of us, they're only relatively recent. For you, well, that's your norm, right? You've been there, as you shared, public since August 24th, so first school year. Those principles, whether sustainability, whether it's the community ethos of giving, the acceptance to your reference, the sense of personal accountability and responsibility, the nurturing, the safety. Those are things that everybody would want anywhere, whether in school or in a working environment. Mm-hmm. Why is it so significant from your perspective, relatively new to that school environment at CAS?
Well, coming from my past school, I definitely noticed like such a big, not gap, but almost divide in the way that the community was towards our being with your peers and students. And I found that coming here, it immediately kind of closed up. I felt that I gained such an understanding of community from everyone. I just finally saw that there can be so many events that can happen at a school. There's so many fun things that we can do, and that school isn't somewhere that we don't enjoy. There's fun things to do, and it's nice to see that values that individuals should be grown up with, we can see it represented through such a vast school, because obviously their main goals at CIS are diversity, inclusion, making sure that everyone feels welcomed, and I think that's definitely very well done.
Yeah. Well, then that's what I think parents want, but also teachers. So, Mr. Jim, to you, we've come from a space perhaps where there are only a few activities are talked about, so many to choose that almost impossible, even if you wanted, even if you were allowed, just there's not enough time. We had one activity on a Friday night, perhaps, and you went to it, or you went to it. That was your choice. Given that option, those choices, opportunities to our students, but also ensuring that the academics are met, they both shared, a full IB. Mm-hmm. Anyone who has done that knows that that's academically vigorous, but yet there are all these other things that are fun too. How do you balance that for teacher, for student, but for parent, with their expectations?
I think definitely. I think for the students, they tend to be more in science terms. If you're malleable and ductile, they're able to adapt, improvise, and overcome. Maybe a little bit easier than say those that might be a little bit older. So they tend to be more comfortable with ambiguity, and are able to make decisions. Like you mentioned, the choices, and Hart and Ryan and Katie were mentioning those choices. That's difficult. It's the paradox of choice. When you have too many choices, it's hard to make a decision. If you just had one choice on Friday night to go to a football game, easy. Here, when there's multiple options, it allows students to have in a safe environment, learn to make decisions, find out, you know what, I don't like that as much. Oh, I really like that.
Right.
And perhaps also, because I've been on Ryan's own radio show before, when people are able to follow their passions. And so I think that's important. The challenge, I think, is from a teacher's perspective, is whatever we're teaching, that's the most important thing to us, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't like the magic of math? Oh, it's not really my bag. What? You don't want to sing? And that's their passion. That's important. But that's hard sometimes for teachers to see the big picture. And I think as parents, that's even that much more difficult. Certainly when the students are getting older, grade 10 and grade 11 and grade 11, when they're starting to make more independent decisions that might be slightly different than their parents' views, or have discussions around the dinner table and talking about topics that might be, they might see the world in a different space. So it's important, and one of the reasons why our school has a parent association called the FSA. It's not a spy agency, it's Family School Association. And also times to meet with people to go over those and share with what different parents are doing in their home, because they want a feeling that, am I the only one feeling this way? And the answer is no.
Mhm.
We're all wondering, and so that partnership across multiple groups is critical.
Critical. We're not glad that Mr. Jim, referenced your radio show. I wasn't sure how to weave that in. I want competition here, okay? But schools now many times, when I say schools, I mean that formative years, unlike universities, the things that students get to do now, we didn't get till university, and only after we sort of prove ourselves, and sometimes even not until grad school. You get that from kindergarten. How is that level of sort of responsibility, or is it an expectation on your part? Well, yeah, well, why don't I have this? I don't care if I'm just 2 years old. Why do I have to wait till I'm 22? Your take.
I think the direction that schools and CIS especially has moved towards to implement more classes that aren't just core subjects like your math and your science. It's a big step forward for kids like us that are trying to learn and see what we like earlier.
Right.
Because you don't always have to wait until university to figure out what you want to do. Like for me personally, I figured out that I like filming, and that's my passion, and I've been grateful to take film class in CIS. And it's not really a radio show, but it's one of the projects that we've had is making a podcast, which I enjoyed to make.
It's radio.
It felt like I was on a radio show.
It's a radio show. Come on.
So projects like that really, it helps me like enjoy filming.
Yeah.
On my own and with other people. I get to learn how to work with others, especially in and behind the camera, and to direct others and to create a story, so that eventually when I do go out there and enjoy my passion, I'll have this head start that I've learned since grade 9.
And I mean, I'll be joking about it because I won't say what a young fella said to me. To me, it's radio. No, it's a podcast. It's the same thing. But why I share is that this, from what you said as we go to Mr. Warren and ask him a question, this gives you a chance to either see if you like it, cement your interest, but at the very least get introduced to it and say, I could go somewhere and know this isn't what I want. If you didn't have the opportunity to try it, you wouldn't know. But then how do you take that skill set, that opportunity, and ensure that it is, for some parents, is it wasting your time? I mean, that's fun. Come inside and do something valuable. You see the actual learning, the development, the instruction, the knowledge acquisition. Does it benefit you?
Well, I think even though it's not a core subject, you're still learning no matter what it is. Even if it's not just learning film, you're learning how to communicate with others and how to, more importantly with film, you're learning how to direct others and how to work with other people, especially in a professional workspace.
Right.
And it's not just wasting your time. Even if you don't end up liking it forever, you've still gained that passion and gained the responsibility to work with others.
Right. We're on the same page. Or film. Not sure. Depends. Before I ask Katie, so from that perspective, these are the skill sets that when we are employers or colleagues, we want the employee to have. Team building, the interpersonal skills, your directing, leading, coaching, managing, all these things that we see on job applications, yet they're being sort of almost by osmosis absorbed. From your perspective, back to whether it's the first grade or whether it's the penultimate year before graduation, how do we ensure that that translation is something that ensures that the child is now taking ownership, developing that sense of leadership, but at the end of the day is being mentored in such a way that whatever decisions, whether life or career, going to be impacted in a positive way?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, kind of what you were saying earlier about the friend group that you have and how important that group is. And, we can all think about our experiences at school, and we kind of emulated those friends that we had. And so the more
Thank you.
The more positive experiences that we could have with our friends, the more positivity that existed within our friend group, that kind of bred itself to more positivity. And so I think the friendship group, and also the staff that we have. The different expertise that they have allow us to really give students those diversity of experiences, whether it's Protect Our Futures or film class or product design. So those kind of things really help students to kind of have that well-rounded experience, so they come out of a CIS education ready for whatever future they choose, but also with those kind of soft skills like we were mentioning.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, I know that there is the scholarship program, and perhaps this initial discussion will set the stage as to why the environment, as the students have relayed, is one that teaches beyond IB, beyond academics, and maybe, can appeal to some parents, prospective students, as to the community, as Mr. DeCosta has shared. Hey, this might be the best fit. So we'll start with you, Mr. Jim, on the way back. Talk about the program. Ms. Rita, you can give us a little bit more highlights in that relative to admissions and application process, criteria, qualifications, and the like. And then the students can test the truth. Is it worth it? That's good. We'll pause and take a break. When they come back, more talk today.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
System 1 loaded.
For the record, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 9:30, we interview the various government ministers, opposition, and Cayman Island legislators. For the record is brought to you by West Bay Pharmacy at Centennial Towers. Visit us today for fast, efficient, and professional service. Everything you need and the hours you need it at West Bay Pharmacy.
The Cayman Islands Agricultural Society presents Roots, Rock, Reggae with reggae superstar Taras Riley live in concert at the Agricultural Fairgrounds on Saturday, March 1st, alongside Mr. Notch and Local Motion 345, Sugar Daddy, Sound Revolution, and more. It's Roots, Rock, Reggae going down Saturday, March 1st at the Agricultural Fairgrounds. General admission tickets only $45 and VIP $65 with access to the raised viewing platform. Purchase your tickets now at eventpro.ky. Roots, Rock, Reggae is brought to you by the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, Cayman Distributors, Coca-Cola, and Cayman Airways.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to good friends over at Cayman International School for sharing with us, for providing the opportunity to talk about their Citizen High School scholarship program, and to all our parents in particular who continue to invest, whether they're taking their children, whether we're ensuring that they get up independently, iron their clothes, make their beds. Do people still do that? I don't know. And to our teachers, educators who always, consistently, we say, sadly, it's become a cliche, but go above and beyond to ensure that safe, nurturing environment. But Mr. Jim Urquhart, from that perspective, there are many times that many of the things, even inadvertently, serve as an impediment, from the financial to the transportation, to even just the physical access to get in and out and the like. You guys at CS have done a great, consistent, concerted effort to making it as easy, as accessible, almost as unfettered as possible. So congrats and thanks, sir.
No, thanks for the kind words. I think one of the things you mentioned about is access.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, whether it's distances, transportation, or we live on an island where finance is part of life,
mm-hmm.
and that access is financial. And so you can almost use the acronym FAIR,
mm-hmm.
like F for fairness, A for access, I for inclusion, and R for representation. And one of the items of our Cayman Citizenship Scholarship Program is to make sure that some of the students that may be interested or curious about attending our school, even if it might be a little bit further away from where they live, that there is potential access points to our school. And so part of the scholarship program is to remove some of the financial barriers there. And with that, with the program, what we're looking for is certainly students that epitomize our community principles of kindness, partnership, sustainability, and good intent. And beyond that, as you mentioned, to go above and beyond, are there something else that makes that person unique? So when we worry about universities or colleges or gap years, that's a plug for gap years too. Don't rule out that for personalized learning. Often we think of the notion of being well-rounded, and that's important. And I liken it to important to be well-rounded and something spiky that's going to stick.
Yeah.
That sets you apart. And so that above and beyond part is also what we're looking at for our scholarship children, whether it might be in the realm of service or particular very focused academic interest. It could be in the world of sport. It could be in the world of art. And those types of things that allows a person to be well-rounded and something just a little bit special.
Yeah, thanks. And to you, Ms. Rita, that idea of, as I guess, admissions, we're facilitating the application. There are boxes to check, forms to submit. But I think back to what Hart was sharing in that you have to feel acknowledged, accepted, included, safe, nurtured. It doesn't matter if you are joining the football team and you came from a top team before. You need to learn the dynamic, the politics of the team. You need to gel with the players. You need to understand how the coach expects you to perform. And maybe, how do we ensure that as the applicants navigate the application process, that they're not just checking boxes, but they understand the expectation?
Well, that's a good question. So we do, as they're filling out the application, the admissions team, we really do like to meet with the students, chat with them as they're completing the assessments and those types of things like that. It's really conversations that we have with them.
Mm-hmm.
We, want to know what they like to do outside of school, not just at school itself. And so a lot of it is for us trying to get to know and learn about the students. I really would encourage any family who's listening, and if they have a child right now if they're in the UK system, which would be year 9, or if they're in the grade 8 US system, that's like the year right now that we're looking at for students to start applying for the scholarship that we have. And we would love to get as many applicants as we can and meet people who would be interested in coming to CIS. The application is available online at our website, or you can always get in touch with us in the admissions office so we can explain it to any family who's interested in it, so that we can help them get through the application process, and for Caymanian students out there.
Right. I know sometimes, just applying for that summer job or that internship or even university, whether it's just one sheet of paper with a couple of things to fill out, we procrastinate. The longer it is, the more daunting. The less it is, or we can do it tomorrow. Deadlines are set for a reason.
Yes, they are set for a reason. So the application does need to be in by February 7th.
Next Friday?
So it's next Friday. That is correct. But that doesn't mean like the testing and interviews and that type of stuff needs to be done. Just the application itself, which, we've had people be able to fill it out very quickly. It's not too terribly daunting. We try not to make it be that crazy. And there isn't an application fee if you are applying for this scholarships. So I want to make that abundantly clear. Like we would make sure that you're not paying the normal application fee or anything like that.
you supply and you know you get the guidance you need in having the process. If I might, through our teachers, as a student, Ms. Kitty, you reference, and thanks for sharing for how long you've been there. For many of us, we just continue in a space because that's the expectation, that's the norm. Thankfully, I think as your classmate and shared, parents are increasingly allowing their children to have a voice, to be able to share, to be included. Thankfully, my parents did that. There were no terminology. I just thought that was a norm until I realized it wasn't. For you, each year, you want to be there, you encourage, but for someone, it's, man, that was a hard year. New friends or other friends have gone, or what is it that makes it so appealing to you? What, if any, particular challenges that you may have encountered, that subject, that whatever, that you persevered and say, what, next year is going to be better, give you the momentum to continue?
Well, obviously I've had some ups and downs being at CIS for so long, but I think that's a part of life.
Yes.
I'll bring it up. I have a chronic illness. I don't know what it is, but I've struggled with that for probably 6 or 7 years. But I've kept it down low, so not a lot of people know about it. But there were some staff members that I personally relied on to get me through that, and I think that's really helped me stay at the school, especially with my peers as well, my friends. They've been super helpful getting me through that. The teachers, super supportive, and just in general, having that support system throughout all of your years where people know you and you've grown up at the school, and I've had personal development, so people understand me as a person, and then just getting to move up with those teachers and then experiencing high school, growing into a new person. I think that really helps you get through those challenges, because even though they are challenges, they are a part of life, and you just have to have the mentality that you will get through it, and that an obstacle is just, it's an obstacle. You will get through it with the support of others.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think sometimes we don't appreciate the things that people experience, even when we may know, we don't know enough. But having that family, that support, that love, we use the word nurturing, and sometimes a little too much it becomes. But that's important, because it's not just about going to school and get perfect attendance or getting the A or making your best effort. It's about living. It's about being able to thrive. And that's important. Thanks. To you, Ryan, the idea that it's not just about finding your niche, potential career, being the next, whatever that is, right? The position you, wherever that is. It's about the now. As much as I'm struggling to do that, I live 20 years in the future to only now realize I missed the now. Talk to your potential new classmates next academic year to embrace the now, to excel, to acknowledge that, well, as Katie said, that's life. That's life. My next career, I'll be no, it's not.
Just when you're in the school space, as much as it seems like you're being pressured to perform well, and you have an expectation, but you have to realize that you can only do as good as you can, and you don't want to put too much mental stress on you to perform better and better every day, and you want to just keep it smooth sailing mentally, and that'll make your school life more enjoyable, especially in an IB school like this. You want to try your best, and you want to continue to get better, but you can't mentally strain yourself.
If I might, and only if you wish to share, because I think that is good for us as parents. The teachers know this. Sometimes us, the parents, but what you just shared, whether they're students in the Cayman Islands at any of the schools, or any of the other, friends who have family, children, nieces, nephews in other schools, that mental pressure that they put on themselves, that somehow we, as the parent, put on them without even realizing it. You said it, but that's easier said than done, because you have an expectation of what you want, but we, as the parent, have even a greater one. How do we get you to excel, but at the same time not be so overwhelmed?
I think it's just honesty with your parents. If they're the ones stressing you, or if teachers are stressing you, you just have to you have to set a goal that is obtainable, but also not too mental for you.
Okay. All right, full idea. Attainable, we say. Sustainable, we say. Mental health, wellness, hopefully we start to appreciate it. But oftentimes it's not shared. You don't feel acknowledged, accepted, heard. You don't feel like you'll be included, involved in part of it because, well, what you may, not just you personally, in your mind, help us as the adult, as the teacher, the parent, to acknowledge that we once were, and even me, I think, was a child once. I'm not sure, but I must have been. That this is not just life. This is now. This is real. We need the strength mentally more than physical at times.
Well, sometimes it's difficult for, I think, the teenagers to be able, or like kids of our age, to almost speak with our parents and tell them how we feel about certain things, because it's almost fear of judgment. Like, oh, it's for our heads. Sometimes it's like our parents might think, oh, we're not good enough, but it's never that case. It's you have a voice, you always should use it. You know, no matter how old you are, you have the ability to speak. And if you can properly communicate your feelings and communicate how you feel about whatever's happening at school, I think that's better than staying in silence.
Right.
It applies for everything. And even with like struggles with life, they're so important to have, almost like, as much as they suck, no one wants them. They're so important for us to build as humans and kind of understand the world, because the world isn't perfect. Nothing's perfect. And if we have this idea that, oh, everything's going to be so good, then you're going to be so screwed when it comes to the real world. And if we're not able to communicate how we feel in a situation where we don't feel comfortable, then we're not going to be able to properly survive in how the world actually works, because you have to be able to speak in situations where you don't feel comfortable.
Find that voice, exercise it
Exactly.
respectfully, responsibly. Thanks. As we wrap up our discussion, back to the high school, right? It all starts at the first day of school. Ensuring the child is nurtured, learn how to speak responsibly, respectfully, and for us as the adult to see that voice not as a tantrum but as a voice to be nurtured. How do we ensure that transition continues? And it's not just language. It's not about empowering, encouraging, and motivating and mentoring. It's actually about ensuring that there is a success beyond the classroom.
Yeah, it's kind of, again, to what we were saying about those soft skills, those skills that people need in order to kind of go out and have those successful experiences, whether it's, you know, with their peers or in the professional environment. And so I think really teaching kids like what appropriate advocacy looks like, and how we are using our voice, and how that voice can kind of it can do great things, but it can also do some damage if you're not kind of really being conscious and thinking of others, and kind of trying to create that environment where everybody feels like they can speak up and they are heard. But how to do that in an appropriate manner that kind of brings people in instead of just pushing people out.
Right. So as we find words from you, Ms. Rita and Mr. Jim, that notion that, you know, we have to be held to account, the importance of ensuring that people are nurtured, and as a young person, you know, you're guided, sometimes you're corrected, chastised, but it's in love, and that discipline is not in anger. To get them to appreciate, it's not just a tantrum, but it's a demonstration of passion. Fine line at times. Help us to appreciate it as we ensure their applications, you know, and expectations for that child who will excel, because we raise the bar, but we're not making it impossible.
So definitely our goal at CIS is to really ensure that all students are successful, whatever that is, and for us to support them and ensure that they're going to be successful. And what success looks like to me might be different than what it's like for somebody else, right? So we really try to take a look at every single child and see what their passions are and what they want to do. And so again, that's why I would encourage parents to just try and you know, encourage your child. We're happy to show them around the school, give them a tour. Sometimes it's just like you get that feeling when you're on campus and you go, oh, I do like it here. I do love it here. I want to go ahead and apply. So maybe that's the first step for them, is to reach out to us and come and get a tour. And then, you know, they're like, okay, yes, I really want to, you know, try this and see if I can, earn that scholarship or and be a part of this community.
Well, thank you for that. And the last word goes to Mr. Jim. I'm thinking back to what Ryan shared. It reminds me of not just Billy Joel as a great storyteller, but a singer-songwriter and performer that honesty.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, I remember the song.
So, yeah, it is so true in our own endeavors and actions, but also in our education and instruction, and with AI sort of being at our fingertips to do everything. That integrity that is inculcated in the school through its ethos, those principles, those core principles we reference, that new student may find at home, may find that these are the things that are not just values and virtues that we believe as, I talk about the soft skills. Those are essential for a better society. Your closing thoughts with that in mind, and the application next week, it's closing deadline.
All right. Well, I appreciate your reference to Billy Joel and honesty in my Spotify top songs of the year. No judgment.
Hey.
My number one song was actually by Michael Franti and Spearhead, and it's called "Work Hard and Be Nice." And I think that encapsulates what we're trying to do here. And you mentioned AI, and very interesting times, right? Things have always been at our fingertips, and each year's or generation's definition of utopia seems to be realized. When we were younger, it might be food on the table. And now we have food is everywhere for most people, fortunately. We still have work to do. Access to information is the internet. Now it's like, give me the information now and curate it. And we're able to do that with AI. And now I guess DeepSeek. I prefer Claude as developed. It's considered more ethical.
I prefer the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Encyclopedia Britannica. But with that, I think that's the important part when looking at education period, and how to make a wise choice. We have all these things at our fingertips. We're working with honesty. We're working through challenges of life. I think Hart said sometimes things are difficult, and that's no fun. And I think that's the good thing about our program, and certainly other schools' programs. We'd like to think our program does a very strong job of recognizing that when a person is going through a difficult time, what better place to be doing it where you might have a parent nearby, teachers that might know you, classmates that know you. And so what a great setting to be able to work through those challenges, because when you're out on your own, it's hard when you feel by yourself. And so looping back, as you mentioned AI, and I know people will give me action if I don't talk about it a little bit, is it still comes down to what's between our ears. And to be able to curate, manage, understand what is accurate, what makes sense to you, double check things. So even with all this information at one's fingertip, the importance that loops back to what's between our ears, and kind of Kinnan was mentioning the soft skills. Katie was mentioning taking risks. Ryan was talking about following your passion, and Hart was talking about a sense of belonging. And all those things aren't necessarily garnered through AI per se. It's garnered socially. And to me, that's a critical aspect. And in our case for a scholarship program and children entering the IB diploma, that allows for all those skills to be developed and beyond.
Well, thank you all for coming in. Students, continue to enjoy, not just these formative years, and you'll be reminded, I think, as was shared, that family that you have developed as students, those friendships that you have nurtured. But those experiences, good or bad or indifferent, will shape you. I always say, the difference between bitter and better is the latter. The impact is significant. So, for those who do IB, the theory of knowledge, I think, instructs in a way, but what it does in ways, challenges, positions you to do that much better. So thanks for the courage, Ms. Katie. Thanks for you guys. Looking forward to when you can visit us again. All right.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Let's pause and take a break. Let's give Ms. Susan at least a little bit less grief. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
Attention Red Bay and Prospect families. Join me, Roy Tatum, your PPM candidate for Red Bay.
And me, Crystal Gomez Wilson, your PPM candidate for Prospect.
For a fun-filled day to celebrate the everyday superheroes in our community. Mark your calendars for the Post-Heroes Day Family Fun Day.
Join us on Saturday, February 1st from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Eddie Sanchez Community Park on Victory Avenue and Prospect Drive. Enjoy free food and music, face painting for the kids, inflatables and games for all ages, and free photos to capture those special moments.
We can't wait to see you there. 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, February 1st at the Eddie Sanchez Community Park.
Sponsored by your People's Progressive Movement candidates Crystal Gomez Wilson, Prospect candidate, and Roy Tatum, a Red Bay candidate.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise Him, praise Him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise Him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise Him. Praise Him. Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith in hand. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith in hand.
Praise time.
I know He cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
Has your child been diagnosed with ADHD, or have you been told to seek an assessment for your child based on certain hyperactive, inattentive, or impulsive behaviors? Then the Family Resource Center's Understanding ADHD virtual workshop can help. The workshop supports parents' understanding of ADHD, parenting strategies for children with ADHD, and other useful information to support your child. Contact Family Resource Center at frc@gov.ky to reserve your spot for this free workshop.
Hi, I'm Kathy Miller. Join me on Radio Cayman's Business Buzz every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9 a.m. and the second and fourth Thursday of each month from 8:15 to 9 a.m.
Radio Cayman's Business Buzz.
If you're a business owner or part of one, Business Buzz is your source for the latest initiatives, developments, and varied viewpoints from the local business landscape. Be part of the Business Buzz with me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday morning on Radio Cayman.
The Business Buzz. Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube.
Download
our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman. Country
Classics. One night of love don't make up for 6 nights alone.
No one could steer me right, but Mama tried. Mama tried. You're cheating hard. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. I'm a honky-tonk man.
Country
Classics.
She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time tonight. On a Sunday morning sidewalk.
If you enjoy classic country music, come hang out with Radio Cayman this Saturday, 3:30 to 6 p.m.
I'm so lonesome I could cry. I'd love to wake up in your arms tomorrow, but I'm so afraid of losing you again.
This Saturday afternoon, following American Country Countdown, 3:30 to 6 on Radio Cayman.
Country Classics.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Radio Cayman, the forum of the people. Join me, Oric Connor, on For the Record on Radio Cayman. We put the tough questions to government officials, independents, and opposition members of our parliament. And from time to time, we revisit our storied past. Tune in on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Reach out to us on 949-6990 or 1-800-534-8255. WhatsApp us 925-3261 or email talktooc@gmail.com. Your voice matters.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bride.
Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market. Crystal Gomez Wilson announced as PPM candidate for Prospect. Opposition leader Joseph Joey Hugh praises her leadership and highlights the importance of women in shaping the Cayman Islands' future. Wilson commits to transforming challenges into solutions and uplifting the community. More information is available on the PPM website. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Banning the sale of zombie knives is a positive step, but schools need to intervene earlier to help tackle the UK's knife crime crisis, says Idris Elba. The 52-year-old actor has spent the last year making a documentary for the BBC about solutions to knife crime, during which he met victims' families, police officers and teenage offenders. In addition to early intervention, he told the BBC that ninja swords should be banned and even suggested domestic knives could be made less dangerous. And the chemical building blocks of life have been found in the grainy dust of an asteroid called Bennu, an analyst reveals. Samples of the space rock, which were scooped up by a NASA spacecraft and brought to Earth, contain a rich array of minerals and thousands of organic compounds. These include amino acids, which are the molecules that make up proteins, as well as nucleobases, the fundamental components of DNA. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And it's always an honor. I mean, sometimes I try to bring a little bit of levity to the learning. Hopefully through laughter we can feel the love, and at the end of the day we appreciate the importance of connecting as through our community and the fellowship and the friendships that we build, that those bridges extend beyond our borders. And I thank my colleague Miss Anita for reaching out and helping us to facilitate this discussion, because I think as President Gillian Madasi will share with us, sometimes public speaking, whether you have assembled a group of friends and you want to announce that you're planning on maybe changing careers, you want to introduce your new partner, you're going to be relocating for a bit, take up studies, sometimes even that thing amongst the closest, you get kind of nervous, you get tongue-tied, you forget what you want to say because you become something other than what you thought you were. Lawyer, doctor,
Yes.
even educator.
Yes.
There's something about public speaking that maybe is daunting, or is it?
It is. In fact, public speaking, I think, is the third biggest fear.
Marriage being the first one?
Definitely, that one is for me. I do agree with that.
Sorry,
But
try to
Dwayne,
behave.
thank you so much for having us on the program. Yes,
Yeah.
what you've just described is called impromptu speaking.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much every day, we are open to that topic of impromptu speaking. We have to speak off the cuff, and having to speak in front of an audience makes it even more challenging.
Uh-huh.
But if you have the right training and proper structure, then it becomes easy also with practice. It's like being an athlete. You need practice to improve and to decrease anxiety.
Okay. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I won't venture that just. Everybody wants to reduce anxiety at some time, right?
Yeah.
If I might, though. And for some of us, we want to break the ice. For some of us, it's a little bit of laughter and try deflection, why it makes it a little bit easier. But as you were sharing, I want us to appreciate how to be a part of Toastmasters, the importance of it, how that preparation and training and practice not just assists when we're giving a toast at some event, whether we're, as the example I tried to convey, we have assembled the closest and dearest to tell this thing that is most personal and private to us, to that first group, before Miss Andra gets it on my road, right? We want to say that. And again, jokes aside, but is a speech similar to what I think some of us were taught in school relative to write an essay, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, and all the other stuff? Is it the same sort of structure?
Absolutely. It's very important to have proper structure. That is the foundation of a proper speech. But when you join Toastmasters, when you become a member of Toastmasters, you get a lot of feedback. In fact, we do check other things such as filler words that we tend to use. We also look at grammar. And then there's also the factor of time. Many of us speak too much, and like myself, I go over topic, over time, all the time. And so it's something, these are several things that you learn when you become a Toastmaster, because you get feedback on the structure and those other areas.
And before I ask your colleague, Toastmaster Sean, to weigh in, I'm thinking words that come into play when we're speaking, elocution. the idea of enunciation, to being audible and the like. And I wonder to what extent that conversation in front of that audience, we should be more conscious and cognizant relative to the conversation amongst family and friends, where the grammar, aside from a reading, isn't as important. The diction maybe not as important. The use of colloquialisms and the like. Or is it, this is who I am and this is what I am? Sean, from your perspective?
Well, the good thing about Toastmasters is it takes you from where you are. Persons join at a different level. You spoke about colloquialism. Sometimes persons may go up, and that's how they get to express themselves. Because once you join Toastmasters, everyone has the ability to do what we call their icebreaker, and that's where you introduce yourself to the club that you're a part of. That's standard throughout Toastmasters globally. And once you do that, then the persons get to understand where you are. It's from there. It's like the blueprint. This is where you're beginning. And then the program will, depending on your objective, guide you where you want to go. You asked about diction and those kind of things. Those things do come out. We highlight them through our grammarian role. But it's not the space where you have to worry like, oh my God, I'm so imperfect. Like I can't match up or I can't step up to it. It's actually a space where you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all together. It's like a peer mentoring environment, actually. That's basically what it is, where you come to speak. You could be the president of a country. You could be the person that's cleaning the lowest place. Once you come there, the ground is leveled. You may have different objectives as to why you're there, but the forum is provided for you to excel the best way you can.
If I went then, Paul, then to our newsroom, if I may ask you, those objective reference for some of us is because we know we're expecting a promotion. Maybe we want the courage because there's something coming up where we are going to be called upon. I wouldn't want to say the best man, because if you're the best man, you're probably the groom. But again, thanks for laughing. You see what I mean, right?
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. And he's been trying.
Boy, you know what? Some things should not be told publicly. For you and for your participation, what's been your evolution? How has it benefited you? Share with us that perspective, because we all have different reasons, right?
Absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity for being here. I know I came in a little bit late. Thank you, guys. So let me just say that I'm still trying to be the best man. I'm still working on that, right? And sorry. In terms of how I see myself evolving as a speaker, when I came into Toastmasters, I definitely was a whole lot shy. I mean, I used to get
shy guy.
Yeah, shy guy. Yeah. I went back to that song, "Shy Guy." That's in my pursuit, that might not be a bad thing. Being a shy guy.
Yeah.
But coming from being very shy to just being able to stand up in front of a group of people, a large crowd, and speak, has been an evolution for me, certainly. And I think regardless of where you're at as a speaker, in terms of your confidence, the way you present yourself, Toastmasters is a place that could help you to find the next level and help you to gradually grow and discover who you are as a speaker and more so a leader.
Yeah.
And I think that you're never perfect, regardless of where you're at. Even you have been in this business of being on the radio for many, many years, but still, you know how challenging it is at times. We all get to that place where we might fumble with our words, make a few mistakes, even mess up on the grammar. When we are really good at English, we can still make mistakes. So perfection is a thing that is not necessarily a reality for us, but it is the challenge to know that we're always working on becoming a better speaker, communicator, and ultimately a better leader.
If I might ask, then, you used the word evolution. For you, if you don't mind me asking directly, has it made you a better communicator, an effective speaker? What has that evolution been like? And in particular, when you're speaking, whether to a family or friend, social setting, or otherwise, has it changed the way you present, the way you speak, the words, the choices, all of the grammar, everything that comes with speech?
It has, certainly.
I like to compete in speech contests, hence I am actually the contest chair for our upcoming contest tomorrow.
Right,
And I feel that when I first started the program, I didn't have the courage to stand up in front of a group of people and speak, much less competing in a speech contest. And that's where you really either make yourself or break yourself. But I think it's the place to really grow. In terms of how the program has helped me, now I can speak confidently in front of a large group. I've won several contests myself. And in terms of my one-on-one personal conversations, that has significantly improved. I've learned so many things about, the techniques we can use to communicate effectively through Toastmasters. For example, I recently did a presentation. I was talking about how words can evoke emotions. And if I look at Jillian and said, Madam President, you look very confident today, by just using the word confident, I'm instilling a little bit of confidence in her. She just suddenly feels the need to, move up her shoulder a little and just, I do look confident. So using your words, you can really lift people up. You can change their mood. You can evoke emotions, and you can really, you can use it to your advantage to have a more effective conversation, a more productive conversation. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and trust me, I use everything I've learned in Toastmasters on her every day, because you know how difficult it is to communicate with a teenager.
No.
Well, if
you're assuming that you can communicate with teenagers. You're really confident.
Yes. So I usually have to, pull on those little techniques and try to use words and phrases to kind of paint a picture and appeal to our senses, our five senses, and our emotions, and get her engaged.
I mean, the scripture talks about life and death is in the tongue. And so words can be cutting, can be empowering, could be pivot to you. And share as you wish your experience. Your intro first, if you wish.
So my name is Fiona Pimentel, and I joined Toastmasters just before Christmas. So my first experience of Toastmasters was having a Christmas party, which I thought to myself, I like this club already. And then just the other day, last week, I gave, or rather 2 weeks ago, I gave my first speech, and that was a 4-minute speech. And then last week, I gave my first table topic speech, which is a 2-minute speech, 1 to 2 minute speech. And I was convinced, persuaded, had my arm pulled by Toastmaster Paul to take part in tomorrow's contest, which is exciting for me.
Well, I want, before we go to the break, and when we come back, President Jelly, you will share with us about, the anniversary and tomorrow. But Ms. Fiona, for those of us who know you, we know you in a different space. We see your writings, we see the other things. We would think, and I think, Paul sort of intimated it to some extent. Whether you're a lawyer, educator, doctor, otherwise, we automatically expect and assume that person can, in this space, communicate. It's not always the case.
Nope.
Right? For you?
For me, so I was running a Facebook group, which I've sort of stopped doing at the moment. But I would notice that I was quite good at doing Facebook Lives or 15 minutes that I would prepare for thoroughly. But when it came to talking off the cuff, I wouldn't necessarily have the words. And also I would look back at my group coaching videos, and I'd see a lot of nervous laughing, ums and ahs. So I'm quite grateful for the and ah count. Grateful in inverted commas.
But, if we are unwilling to learn, we'll never grow. If we don't grow, we'll never expand, sort of our territory. So when we come back, let's talk about what tomorrow means for the club, where the club has come in this last quarter century. Madam President, you will guide us in that discussion?
Absolutely.
All right, and I'm looking forward to that dark decadent chocolate. So, after the break, stay tuned.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or belly fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hi, I'm Deputy Governor Franz Manderson, and I'm excited to announce the DG's 5K Challenge is just around the corner. We kick off things in Little Cayman on March 9th, followed by Cayman Brack on March 16th, and the grand finale on Grand Cayman on March 30th. This year, we're supporting the Cayman Islands Girls Brigade, the Cayman Islands Scouts Association, and the One-to-One Foundation, each helping to shape our next generation. Join us in making a positive impact. For registration details, find us on Facebook at DG's 5K Challenge.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and if I might just collectively say a big thanks to all who try to, educate, instruct, and inform from our own personal experiences or expertise, others to uplift. Iron sharpens iron, and it's more what we need to do. So to Toastmasters everywhere, but to those who have, availed themselves of the opportunity through President Gillian, I think it just shows what we can achieve when we work together. It shows what we can attain if we're willing to be, consistent, make that concerted effort. I know you and I weren't quite around 25 years ago, but tell us about it, because time does fly. Hey, no laughter, behave yourself. Madam President.
25 years ago, January 17th, 25 years ago, this club, the Grand Cayman Toastmasters Club, was formed by 20 individuals who had a heart for service, who had a heart for leadership, and committed to the growth of themselves and of others. And so this club has been in existence for 25 years. We've done community work with youth, and also in the private sector, we've also offered some speech training called Speechcraft with the youth. We've done the Youth Leadership Program or the Gavel Club. These programs we're looking to reignite and start them again in our 25th anniversary.
Wow. And this is where I think, as we go around, we talk about tomorrow, but Ms. Fiona, to you, we can do the thing that we do, whether that's because we've always done it, it was been our education and instruction and we just fell into it with a passion, or whether by default. But when we find something that challenges us, it can either nurture or make it nerve-wracking. For that perspective, Toastmasters? Is that how we call
Yep.
it?
We're all Toastmasters.
All right. And listening, think I always wanted to do that for whatever the reason, but didn't have that courage, that confidence. Or sadly, I don't need to do that. I appear before judges every day. You know, children, wives, sorry, those kind of judges. Just kidding. What do you say to them? Why should they join? What made you want to join?
Well, I wanted to join, as I say, to improve my confidence in speaking, and also to improve my message, because I would say something. Let's take this glass of water as a trivial example. I would say this is a glass of water, and I
You hope.
and I I would hope so. But I would think that I've adequately expressed and conveyed my message.
Mm-hmm.
But then Toastmaster Julian might say, "But is it hot or cold?" And Toastmaster Paul might say, "But has it got a squeeze of lemon in it?" And Toastmaster Sean might say, "Is it fresh, or has it been sitting there for a week?" And so, you know, having being taught a structure to a speech forces you to actually give all the information in an organised fashion, which I wasn't doing before.
And it's interesting you share that. That brings us, Master Paul, to you. That notion that the structure in the formal writing, that essay composition that I think schools used to teach, I don't know if they still do or not, is not unlike what we expect in a speech, whether it's the politician, this being the political campaign, whether it's the CEO trying to ensure that the board understands what they're trying to achieve, or whether it's that person for whom we've paid a lot of money to be the motivator at our business conference or whichever, for the tabletop exercise and for the structure and the critique and all the other things. What can you say to us that may encourage us to participate, to do as you did? Hey, I kind of like this. I like talking and get paid for it too.
Yep. In terms of structure, let me just say that, the average speech, we recommend a simple, very simple. So simplicity, if you think about communication, if you can take a complex idea and break it down or explain it in a simple form, that's perhaps the most effective way to communicate.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be too big fancy words and too much, very complex language. And in terms of structure, we recommend a very simple structure. That is, every speech, we look for an opening, a body, and a conclusion. That is like a rule of thumb. You have to have that. Now, the opening is, we look for two parts. The first part of the opening is to grab attention, or that hook. And the second part is to introduce what you're here to say. So if I introduce myself by grabbing your attention, by showing you a phone, and I said, this is the best cell phone ever, I just grab your attention. Now I'm saying, I'm here to talk to you today about why you should buy a Samsung phone. And then that's my introduction. I go into the body of the speech, make perhaps 3 main points, develop those points based on the time you have to present. And then this brings me to the final bit of the speech, which is the conclusion. The conclusion is very important also. It has 2 main parts. The first part is to summarize. So if throughout the body I was telling you about some very 3 things about the phone, I'm going to summarize the most important points. And the final bit, which is perhaps the most important of the speech, is the call to action. This is where we challenge you to do something with the information we just presented. So if I'm here to sell you the cell phone, I open by showing you the phone, I grab your attention. When I'm closing, I'm going to say, so Sterling, don't waste your time. Go buy yourself a Samsung phone. That's the call to action. Right? So structure. And so in table topics also, these impromptu sessions, we teach you only have 2 minutes to respond, but you have to at least present your response in an organized manner. So table topics, the format for it is the person given the table topic question will just give you a random question. You wouldn't know exactly what that is. And then you have to come up and speak for 2 minutes.
I should actually time him a while ago because
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said that
was like a table topic response.
It's just to give the audience a literal example of what's happening, like the president said earlier, impromptu.
Yeah.
The interview here, it's straight impromptu. It didn't feed you any questions. It didn't tell us what you're going to ask. You're presenting them. And so we're giving our responses. And that's what the environment provides for you. Like you're saying, it's taking it into a small space of like-minded persons, and then you go out into the world and apply it. You go to your regular 9 to 5 in your conversations with family at the dinner. You made some jokes earlier about, wife and stuff. It's just last week I said no, but I can relate because I could say through Toastmasters, literally, I have developed my listening skill in corresponding with my partner. Yeah. Literally, sometimes how to not take it on, or how to then develop my response not to be offensive, but to ensure the conversation is clear and it means fluid and open. Mm-hmm. And most of those skills I learned in this environment over the past few years.
Right. I like what you're sharing, because there are times we have to be succinct. There are the times when in trying to communicate, we don't want to be so curt that it becomes offensive. It may be, President Gillian, time constraints. You have a lunchtime session.
Yes.
But how do you get what you want covered that is effective and is conveyed respectfully? Well,
one of the things that we do learn when we are evaluators in Toastmasters is we learn how to give feedback. And giving feedback is something that we all need as leaders. And if we have co-workers, and even as Sean just mentioned, in our own families, giving feedback in a structure, even feedback needs structure.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we use what is called the sandwich method. Right? And we're very gentle. We start out with the positives, and then we talk about areas where someone can grow, areas for improvement. And then we wrap up our feedback with generally positive statements, encouraging that person to move on and grow. And so for me personally, just attending Toastmasters for my own personal gains, I ended up learning as an employer how to give feedback better, in a more structured and organized way, where it actually means something, sticks, and it's not all about the negatives. And so this is where Toastmasters, as Toastmaster Sean has mentioned, it is the environment that we're in. It's a warm, safe space where you get feedback without feeling embarrassed. Yeah. And in a timely fashion. Succinct.
Succinct. So we're listening to understand, not so much to respond, in a sense. In that when we're given that feedback, it's constructive, but it's sufficient critique that it empowers, nurtures, and improves.
Absolutely. Empowering. Empowering is the main game, the main role. You're there to grow. We're not there to tear each other down. We're here to lift you up. And as Sean also mentioned, we have speakers who enter at various levels. Some are naturally gifted speakers, but there's always room for growth. Yeah. And so it's a perfect environment for everyone, regardless of their level.
Yeah, it's one thing, I think, to be able to write. It's one thing to be able to read that writing publicly. People who can read public, it just amazes me. Then there are those who are great orators. They can speak. As you were sharing, I was thinking back to Miss Elaine from Optimus International. To me, a complimentary.
Right. I'm familiar with the program, but not fully. I think Toastmaster Sean is a member of the Optimist Club.
Yeah, I've been an active member, yes.
And it's so powerful to be able to bring people, no pun intended, to the table, to be able to enjoy conversation, but also to be able to persuade without, you feeling as if you're being, and it's a word I'll use that I think has, still negative to me, influence, today. So as we wrap up our discussion, Ms. Fiona, first to you. Any regrets in joining? What have been your positives in being a part of today? I mean, this is just between us, nobody's listening, okay?
No negatives. Okay. I noticed when I gave my first speech, I woke up the next morning feeling more confident just after one speech. So imagine if you talk to me again this time next year, I'm going to be so confident.
Yeah, but that is it, and that's what is supposed. For us, it's about bringing people, where they understand the space, and it's to nurture, it's to grow, it's to improve, right? I think I was either 78 years or 17, and I show Toastmasters Sean. But whether you just joined or whether you've been, a master, right? You can only improve.
Correct. And I'll respond to you by saying, or with the quote of the club's mission. And it says, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And that's what we do. Week in, week out. Our educational program provides various avenues for you to develop your area of concern, whatever your goal is, whether it is, they said, to deliver something in the boardroom, how you want to make a presentation, how is it you want to present yourself, whether you just want to learn how to listen. Because those are things that we don't necessarily do well. It's all part of the communication exercise, not just the speaking, but it's the making sure you understand. And she talk about being concise and lesson and message delivery. It's the best $72 or $144 you can spend on yourself with just day in, day out, little by little, 10, 15 minutes at a time, working on a craft, working on a particular area, getting excellent, not perfection, excellence.
Rise and tide flow scholarships. So before President Gillian sort of reminds us how to join and whatever, to you, sir, I mean, tomorrow's exercise, what and to what extent we, the public, can benefit, if at all, participate, observe, but even future such endeavors to see how, it has improved that first-time presenter to the veteran.
Absolutely. So let me just invite everyone to come out. If you have the time tomorrow, it starts at 6 at the town hall. It's a good opportunity for you to get a taste of what Toastmasters is all about. You're going to see some of our new members challenging themselves to just compete in impromptu. You will see some of our more seasoned speakers take on the international speech contest, which is a prepared speech, 5 to 7 minutes long. Those speeches are, they have more substance, and it can be very beneficial. Some of the speeches can really motivate you and lift you up. So it's a great opportunity. I like to invite everyone to come out, be a part of it. It's going to be, apart from what you learn to improve your speaking in Toastmasters, the environment is great. It's a good place to network, meet people. I join really for the social benefits of being in Toastmasters. I tell you the truth, first and foremost. And so that is one element that I have to highlight. It's a great place to meet people and to just be amongst good people.
Well, I tell you what, for everyone I've met, I fully subscribe to what you share. Good people, man. As my teacher used to share. Madam President.
Well, as Toastmaster Sean just said, please do come out tomorrow, 6 o'clock at the town hall, and witness our seasoned speakers and our not so seasoned speakers participate in table topics and also the international speech contest. Winners from these contests will go on to participate and compete against other speakers in our area. That is the Grand Cayman. Grand Cayman Toastmasters Club actually spawned 4 other clubs, and we will be competing against winners from these clubs on February 18th. We don't know the details of that yet, but once we do, we'll get the information out. Do follow us on Instagram at Grand Cayman Toastmasters or on Facebook. If you want to join our club or you just want to learn more information about Toastmasters, do go online at toastmasters.com. If you search for Cayman, you will see the 5 different clubs on the island, 2 of which are open, meaning that anyone can join these clubs. The other clubs are closed. For example, the Civil Service Toastmasters Club, which Paul is also a member of. Only civil servants can join that club. And the HSA Toastmasters Club, only employees of HSA can join those clubs. Our club, the Grand Cayman Toastmasters Club, meets weekly at the Georgetown Library on the 3rd floor at 6 p.m. sharp. And we end at 7:15 sharp. It's a nice, fun meeting. You can actually learn by just sitting and observing. I'm going to challenge the audience today to be like the rest of us in here. We joined for a reason, but ultimately we wanted to be better communicators. And I know that personally, I have grown significantly in my journey in Toastmasters.
If I might, thank you all so much, and I can attest for having the distinct privilege for me. It's been amazing to watch the new entrants, and watch them evolve. To use the word that was used earlier, evolution can be a good thing, right? It's not just a Mitsubishi car. We can be better at what we do if we're concerted, consistent, but have a sense of humility. So thank you all for having the courage for sharing with us. And looking forward to hearing a good report about how the exercise goes tomorrow, and then see when and how the Civil Service Club stacks up.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
You're most welcome. Thanks for coming on board. Thanks to
Thank you.
for sharing with us. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Because we had a day that didn't count Monday. Okay, yeah. So tomorrow's this week's Wednesday,
Thursday,
for Monday.
January 30th.
So tomorrow's Thursday.
All right.
All day unless it rains. All right. Thanks, Miss Susan. She should get a medal, but I don't know. All right. Come back tomorrow. We got some things in store for you, and then of course on Friday as well. But until then, let's have a blessed, safe, productive, enjoyable, and a wonderful chocolate-filled afternoon. See you.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.